Hi, in today's training video, I'd like to point out some key features and also the coil section of the unit. This is a 100% outside air unit. It's a C4 cabinet. So let me open up a couple compartments here. So the compartment with your coils on your right, outdoor air hood on your left. The first compartment here is going to be your controls and compressor section. The door to the left of that, and here I want to point out, is that we have on our handles, the top one is a locking. It's going to take a 5/16 Allen wrench. The bottom one is not a locking handle. Here is going to be access to your outside air filters and your coil section. So let me go a little bit more detail. So here again is your outside air filters that you can change. They have little tabs here so that you can get the filters out and slide them out and then change them, and just take this little tab and put that back, and that'll hold that filter in there. The next compartment here is going to be your coil section. The lower part is going to be stage 1. The top part is actually stage 2. So basically, as your coils are laid in here, to identify your coils, as the outside air comes in through the filters, your first set of coil that it's going to hit is your DX coil. That could either be a 4-row coil or a 6-row coil. The coil in the center will be a subcooling coil, and the coil, the last coil before it hits the supply fan, is going to be your reheat coil. These solenoids here are going to be for your switchable subcooling. We have two sets per circuit. You have a normally open, normally closed, normally open, and normally closed solenoid. And again, the way to identify those solenoids is by this little bushing on top of the coil. Basically, it's got a little bushing, so you can figure that as a normally open solenoid. Without the bushing, it's normally closed, and that's how you identify your switchable solenoid coils for your subcooling coil. So now you have your TXVs that are in here, and again, stage 1, stage 2, TXV for stage 1, TXV valve for stage 2. Now we're going to move over to our other compartment here where our controls are. So in our control compartment here, you're going to have your ALC controller with expander board. Here's your blue plug for your equipment touch. Here's your terminal block number 5. This is your co-meter for your supply fan. This will tell you the airflow that the supply fan is running. You're going to have ice cube relays, and your circuit breaker is down here. You have a keypad for your VFD for the first stage compressor, but the VFD is over in the supply section, which we'll show you later on. Up here is your other terminal block that you can get to. In this section over here, you have your phase monitor, your T3 transformer, T1 transformer. Here is an Eaton DC1 VFDs. Both of these VFDs are going to control your stages for your condenser fans. The fans to the right are stage 1. The fans on the left, furthest away, will be stage 2. Up and top are your CC class fuses. To the right here, or to the left, is going to be your MSP overloads. Over here, this red component here is the current sensor for stage 2 compressor. And then over here you have a convenience outlet on here. We also, when we mount and wire and we test it, we ship the unit with a supply air temperature sensor, humidity, that will get installed in the field 15 or 20 feet down the discharge duct. Let me move down into the compressor section now. Over here, the compressor to the left is stage 1. The compressor to the right is stage 2. You have your pressure switches. In here you got your high pressures, which is a manual reset. And you have your low pressure switches that are in here. Also in here is the bleed off cap tube and your bleed off solenoid, and that will help you identify when your reheat circuit is running and not running, or pulling the refrigerant out. In between both compressors, you have your modulating hot gas reheat valve, which will modulate and divert that refrigerant either to the condensers or to your reheat coil in the coil section over here. On the door, you'll have your wiring diagrams. So those are some of the key components, and where, if you never walked up to an Addison unit before. Okay, now that we're on the other side of that C4 100% outside air unit, this is your supply fan and your gas furnace here. Let's open up the door and let's see what you have inside. So what you can see inside here now, here is the VFD for the compressor, the variable speed on stage 1. Here's your gas furnace, the heat exchanger tubes here, and all the controls are down below. Inside is your BCTL high limit, so if the supply fan should ever stop running, this will help kick off the gas heat as a safety. Here's your supply fan, and then here's the step-down transformer to help run the controls to 230 volts. So this is a 460 volt unit, and the gas furnace is 230 volts, so this will step the voltage down from 460 to 230 volt. Outside air damper actuator, outside air temperature, and RH sensor. All right, here's the end shot by the condensers on that 100% C4 cabinet. The coil section to the left is stage 1. Coil section to the right is stage 2. And inside on the bottom, you'll have your receivers. The one to the left is stage 1. The one to the right is stage 2. All right, here's your receiver for stage 1, your filter dryer for stage 1, stage 2 receiver, and stage 2 filter dryer.